Welcome to IKONTUBE, a show dedicated to the influencers industry. I'm your host, Alexa Cappiello. Today, I'm with a well-known entrepreneur and content creator who has more than 2 million followers on social media platforms. Her blog is all about the latest fashion trends, beauty hacks, and her journey of motherhood. I'm thrilled to welcome Chris Han to IKONTUBE. All right, we are joined here with Chris Han, XOXO. Thank you, Chris Han, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Alexa.
Yeah, of course. So you told me you have a toddler at home. Mm-hmm. How was that during quarantine?
Oh, it's tough. You know, being a first-time mom, it's already very tough. And then during quarantine, you basically can't hire helps. And it's just me, my husband, the two of us handling a pretty handful toddler. And
I bet.
I mean, she basically has no friends. We just kind of limit our activities outdoors. So it's really, really tough for a family like this. Mm-hmm.
Of course. But things are slowly getting back to normal. So finally, maybe she can make some friends over in the monkey bars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like to ask all my mom friends, how's it been? And they're all like, wow, it has been interesting. But anyway, speaking of childhood, tell us about your childhood and where you grew up.
I was born and raised in Shanghai. If this is new to you, Shanghai is the center of business, money, and fashion. So I grew up in a family that was very entrepreneurial. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs, and I was heavily influenced by fashion from Europe, I would say. So kind of like my parents, as a lot of Chinese parents, they would expect me to go to corporate world, but I ended up moving to LA and doing something creative.
That's amazing. So what was your experience moving from Shanghai to LA? What brought you here specifically?
I went to USC for my MBA. It's a good offer. It was a good offer that I just can't say no to. So I moved here, and it's very, very different. This was not my plan. I was like, I can just, get to know LA like a bit more. So I stayed for a few more years, and then I stayed. I just settled here, got a house, and got married, and had a kid. So it's this is not planned, but it's fun. Very different vibes, and LA is more laid back. Shanghai is more busy, like big city. Yeah. It has all the big.
Would you compare Shanghai to more like a New York City vibe? Have you ever been to New York?
New York vibe, definitely. New York. Definitely. Or even busier. Everybody's like so driven.
Really?
Like very, very motivated. They work.
Wow.
A lot of people work like 12 hours a day.
Wow.
That's the situation. I used to work like that.
I mean, I still think you have that kind of work ethic. You can't be as successful as a influencer if you don't work very, very hard. I think that's a misconception that a lot of people think about influencers is that they don't work that hard. They just post videos, but it takes a whole lot of work to do what you do. So I'm actually really glad that we're doing this kind of interview to talk about the nitty-gritty details about that. So you did mention you have your MBA in business, which is incredible, and you're also a professional photographer, which we'll get into that more in a moment. But why did you decide specifically to become an influencer? Was it your plan, or did you just kind of like fall into it?
It was a natural progression or evolvement, I would say. I had my first Instagram account back in 2011. It was just for fun, like a lot of people did. And lately, I started to post more like professional curated content, and people started to ask me about my clothes, my makeup, things like that. And I just, I said I just can try it out like a little bit, because I saw a lot of other influencers, what they are doing, like get a little bit inspired. So I started to post more, and started like to work harder on my content to like kind of like strategize what I was doing back then. So back in 2015, when I was doing school at USD, and I started to rebrand it Instagram, started a new account and my blog and also my YouTube. So everything, started to get more like organized. That's where I started to get more following, because people like to keep seeing like created content and they like it, and more people are coming. That's how it happened. So it's more like a natural evolvement for me, because back then there was no such term called influencer or social media marketing. It was all like digital marketing, but it's more about Google. So that's what I learned at school. So just keep learning, keep trying, and here's a new industry, and it's growing like really, really fast.
So as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about the work that kind of goes into some of these posts. And I know the posts you have are varied. Sometimes you just post a picture, sometimes you post a reel. But how much time on average? You post pretty much, I'd say, consistently every 3 days or so. How much time on average goes into making these posts? Effort.
This varies a lot. Sometimes if it's a spontaneous story, anything happens in my life, I just document it, and then just it's live when the whatever is happening happens. So this can be like very, very easy, very spontaneous. But sometimes if it's let's say a project, if I'm working with a brand or other influencers or my collaborator for a specific content, and we probably will have the script, and we like take a few shots and do the editing. Sometimes going back and forth. This can take days, weeks, or even months. It's a lot of effort behind some post. If it's more like educational or informational, I have to do my research to make sure I am presenting like the facts to my audience. So you are seeing a post. This could be a photo, a video, or infographics, anything like that. But sometimes your content creators are spending a lot of time behind this post. Or this can take even like a team to work on a project. I do photography as well, so it takes your stylist, your makeup, and your model, DOP. And a lot of people are working on the single photo that you're seeing on the internet. So if you are looking at one piece of content and you appreciate it, please engage. Please like this post.
Right, absolutely. I was actually thinking when I was looking through your Instagram in particular, I was like, dang, this girl takes awesome photos. And then I found out you were a professional photographer. But I was wondering when I was looking at your photos, I was like, who is taking these? Is your husband taking them? Or do you outsource to another professional photographer? Do you have a stylist with you at most times? Or do you do all that on your own? Do you set up the camera and then do you like walk by as though somebody's taking a photo? Like, these are some of the questions I was wondering when I was looking through your page to ask you all sorts of questions about how you curate your image and stuff.
I'm lucky. My husband is a professional photographer,
and he
kind of took me to this photography world like many years ago. So he took most of my photos, and he's the man behind the camera. And also I did some self-portraits as well, photos, videos, set up my tripod, and I just jump in front of the camera and back to the camera. A lot of things like that. But I saw a lot of influencers are doing the self-portraits thing these days, and I also got inspired. So if you don't have a photographer, don't worry, you can do it by yourself. Just do a research and try like a little bit.
Just have a husband that is a professional photographer, and he'll take all your photos with you. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, sometimes you have to train your husband first, boyfriend or husband. You have to do like a little bit training.
I know you want to be my boyfriend, but first you have to go through Instagram photography training class, and then we'll talk about you becoming my potential boyfriend and or husband. We'll see. We'll see. No, but that's awesome. So did you guys meet doing photography together, or did you just kind of find out that he was also a photographer while you guys were dating?
I was like, I just found out because back then we met in Shanghai actually before moving to
Oh,
LA.
wow.
So it was a long time ago. And then he was one of my early clients in Shanghai. I had a business, language translating and a consulting business in Shanghai. So he was one of my early clients. And then later on, he asked me out, and then he said, I had a camera and I wanted to take some pictures for you. That's how I started.
Oh, wow.
So before
That's awesome.
Instagram, I did have like tens of thousands of good photos already. So I do have like a huge bank. I just had nowhere to share, you know. So once Instagram is up, and I said, let's just share it on Instagram and see how it goes.
And you did fantastically, as we are aware now. On top of the fact that you are an influencer, you have a toddler at home. So how do you manage your work-life balance?
I would say it's not perfectly balanced. You still are struggling as a working mom, like a lot of other parents, because we can hire nannies. As I said, it's still COVID. So my husband and I are taking turns to take care of her. But I do have one strategy that I think a lot of content creators can copy, is that I actually bring her on to the project. So she's in front of the camera, and she did like it. She did like it. So I am taking care of her. At the same time, we are getting our content done. So my audience did love her like a lot. I got more likes honestly for anything with her. So.
Because she's adorable,
and she's part of my content now.
She's a future influencer in the making. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to build her page.
You're trying to build her brand? I'm trying to build my dog's brand. I just made my dog an Instagram. She's going to be more famous than I ever could be. So
yeah, it was fun. Dog mom. Dog mom life.
We're gonna exploit the cuteness of our pets and our kids. Let's do that. It's gonna be what it is. How do you normally pick between the types of brands and products that approach you for promotion on your page? Because I'm sure you have to sift through and sort through which ones you want to choose to promote. So tell me about that kind of process.
So the purpose of working with a brand is mostly to share something valuable to my audience. So let's say someone has a product and want to promote on my page. So the first thing first, I have to try the product. Or if this is a brand that I've been using, it'll be excellent. That I can tell like a very authentic story. If I have a history with this product or this brand, and that will be great. That's preferred. If not, it's like a newer brand, it's upcoming, and I'll have to try the product and make sure the team, the brand, they are the right people to work with. Let's say, okay, so the first thing I say, okay, I am looking for like what kind of content, and if the approach they're doing and it fits how I do the business. So you want to make sure it's the right people and the right product, and then you work on the project, and everybody will like it, and my audience will enjoy the products and enjoy the content.
Right. It is much easier to sell something that you particularly use and you really, really like. But in the cases that you don't use the product, do you take some time to use it before you promote it on your page, or is it just kind of like a case-by-case basis depending on how busy you are?
Mostly case by case. But if I don't really like the product, then I won't be the right influencer to promote it. I won't tell like a good story. Cool. So I will probably have to say no.
That's good. That's good, because sometimes you get influencers that will promote anything and everything, but I personally follow the influencers that I feel are the most genuine and are promoting things that they believe in. Even if I don't agree with the product that they really like, at least I feel like they are being honest with what they like and what they are, the good that they're trying to promote in the world. So I think that's awesome. What do you think, this is an interesting question, what do you think of influencing as a business? Like, where do you see it leading in the future?
Influencing as a business? You mean if
Yes.
I am a brand, I am also influencing? Is this the
Yeah,
question?
I guess the trajectory of that question is you are an influencer now, but where do you see yourself headed in the future? Do you want to be a brand? Do you want to be a brand name in stores, or are you going to use this for other business ventures in the future?
Yes, I'm open to any business opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody has their own brand. Every person is a brand now. So this can be overnight. You probably will have your product, your online, maybe tomorrow. So there are like so many opportunities out there these days. So I really think everybody has their own personal brand. And this is a branding opportunity for a lot of people. Macro influencers or small influencers, like so many opportunities out there. But I always keep my eyes open. And if there's a good one, I will definitely hop on.
So what are some of the pros and cons of being an influencer? We'll start with the pros. Let's start with the good stuff.
Try to be positive. Being an influencer, there are so many benefits. And first of all, this is a sexy industry. It's really fun. I think according to a lot of stats, these days, influencer is already a lot of people's dream job. I didn't even know. Before I started.
Like basically, now talking to children in like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, some of them are saying, I want to grow up to be an influencer. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I wanted to grow up to be an astronaut. You know what I mean? Like there's such a different world now. And so it's just interesting to me that this is a viable career path and it's still so new. So
it's too new.
I love learning about it from you.
It's too new to tell. It's still a very young industry. It's maturing, but it's still a very it's a very new industry to a lot of people. So there is no career path. There's no like a clear career path. You can be very active, not just creative, not just for the content, but also for your career. And to me, one of the most important things is that I can have very flexible hours so that I can be a good mom at home. So I appreciate the flexibility of being an influencer. I can decide who to work with, what I do, what kind of product I promote. So I do have a lot to say for a lot of things. I have my voices on my platforms. I also appreciate that. So I work with a lot of brands that I really love. It's like a dream for me. And for the cons, I would say it's also because it's a new industry. You don't know where you are tomorrow. This can be a pro or a con. If you like uncertainty, you like to challenge yourself, you like changes, and it's good for you. If you like stability, and this is probably not the best job for you. And also, if you can, like, sit down, go through your emails, manage your business, your, let's say, paperwork, things like that. If you don't like doing that, you're not going to manage your own business like well. So just be prepared. There are like a lot of tedious and boring tasks behind this sexy job. So this can be a con.
Right. Of course. So besides being a successful influencer, you are also a professional fashion photographer. Tell us more about that.
It's a really fun side hustle, but I am really like spending more time these days on photography projects because I really enjoyed creating content behind the camera. So work with brands and creating like editorials, lookbooks, and work with a team, hairstylist, makeup, models, and a lot of like moving pieces. You're like a manager of a project, doing a lot of different things. And on site, you work with people who are, it's LA. Everybody can be a model. So this is very, very like really creative for me because there is no boundary. You can just tell a good story using using your camera. And I enjoyed working with myself as well. I create a series of self-portrait, fashion self-portrait, collaborated with Leica. So it's a fun journey for me as a content creator. In the future, I'm looking myself like as a photographer, maybe mostly, but these days I feel like video is the trend. I'm doing more video for social media, but photography is still like near and near
Your
to my heart.
passion. So you said you were going to start up your own cooking channel, right? Have you done that yet?
I'm slowly building a cooking channel across different platforms.
What's the handle?
What is it?
What's the handle?
Luna Mama Cooks.
Luna Mama Cooks.
Yeah, it's new. You can Google it, but it's new. And I did 2 versions for my Chinese audience and also for Western English versions. So I am doing this to educating people how to live better. You can DIY a lot of things at home. So yeah, that's basically what I do. It's totally different from my main channel. So yeah, it's upcoming.
No, but
if you're interested, you can subscribe to Luna Mama Cooks.
I am absolutely interested. I follow a lot of fashion influencers, but I also follow a lot of cooking influencers. Like Babish is one of my favorites. So you are doing the Lord's work, girl. You are helping people get inspo in many, many realms of life. So that's awesome. Also, the food that you just talked about sounds delicious, so I will definitely be checking out and probably subscribing to that channel. So do you have any advice for people like micro influencers that are wanting to join the beauty and fashion influencer sphere?
First of all, I would say don't overthink. Just post now. If you are building any content, you're filming anything, just post it and see what people say. And you can always delete it if it doesn't work. And also you can play with your strengths, whatever you're good at, because there is only you. There's only one you. If let's say I am good at something, but if there is another person, they don't do the same thing. Everybody can be very, very different. Even though like I'm a fashion influencer and the other one is also a fashion influencer, we have different personal styles. So we are talking to different audience. So there will be like a group of audience out there, but if you're not posting, like nobody will know you. So just figure out what you're really good at and work around this niche, and then start working on your content and posting your content from today.
That's great. That's really great advice. All right, final question. I like to ask influencers, who their, especially fashion and style influencers, who their fashion inspo is, whether it be a famous actor or another influencer. Who are your style and fashion inspos?
My fashion icon used to be my mom. She passed away a few years ago, but she was in fashion when she's young. And her style is very, I would say, French inspired, very feminine. And she doesn't wear like over 3 colors. Like there are like so many rules, criteria for her styles. And she was my like style police. I was at the door, I was heading out, and she would say like, "Oh, you are wearing too many color, or these shoes don't work," things like that. And she's my inspo, and she got me my first Vogue, things like that. Because she did like a little bit design when she was young. So my mom was definitely my fashion icon, and got me so much inspiration and education. a lot of 101, a lot of basics from her. So it's kind of the foundation, the basics for my personal style and aesthetics. For now, I'm more into Princess Diana's style. I think she's been on internet. She's taken over it, and I like her sporty wear. I like her. She can dress up or down. Very, very, very iconic and legendary. I like her.
Her bike shorts queen.
Yeah.
She was amazing, and she would like put blazers with bike shorts. She was just so ahead of her time. That's awesome that you mentioned Princess Di. She's also one of mine. All right, so that concludes our interview today. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Alexa. It was fun.
Of course. So tell the followers of IKONTUBE where they can find you across all social media platforms.
Of course. My handle is Chris Han XOXO. I'll see you there.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget that you can listen to all of our interviews on the IKONTUBE podcast. Please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel for more interviews. See you next time.